Awesome, awesome. And this is the picture we have of Persephone. All this is from Emily Eaton's collection that she got with everyone from the council. So just so everyone has a little image in their mind. And I have her standing up in front of the rose quartz flower of mine too. Okay, so just get settled into the tent. It's 7:58. We've got a lot of people here so far, so that's good.
Awesome.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Dale. Stephanie will be channeling Persephone today of the Council of Nine, which is the Council of the Cosmos. Um, and yeah, we have a whole interview prepared. We're going to get to know her, her whole energy. And if you're new to following us and you like this content, also go and check out our prior interviews where we interviewed uh, Prometheus, Lilith, and Isis as well. So definitely check out those as well. Those were awesome. All right. So I figure let's just get started. We have a lot of people here.
Okay.
Let us know when you see Persephone or how she's introducing herself to you today.
So she is right in front of me. There's no conference table, just Persephone is what I've got right in front of me. And she's I feel energy and magic just kind of swirling around, like it's her and I, and while you were speaking, Dale, she was like, "Are you ready for this?" Just like really like sweet and excited and powerful. Um and my heart's pounding. It's just
I
like
know.
so.
Every time we
Um,
do this, we're so nervous, and it's always amazing, but it's always nerve wracking.
they always tell me just show up and relax. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's that simple. Okay. So I'll step back and we'll I'll let her I'll
All
let her
right,
in.
let's
Okay.
do it. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome. Hello, Dale. Hello, everybody who is
Hello,
watching.
Stephanie. Yay, we're so
Hi.
excited.
Oh, thank you, Dale, for wearing your roses, your headpiece as well.
Yes, it was a gift from a friend. I was like, you know what? And she loves you. You are definitely on her altar. You always have been. So I was like, I will don it. It feels bright.
Oh, beautiful. I just think it's just so special to really embrace being a woman and expressing through the beauty of nature.
I agree. I think flower crowns should be a daily accessory, in my opinion, not just for Renaissance fairs.
Yes, everybody deserves a flower
Yeah.
crown. And you wear them just because, even when you're doing chores, why not, right?
Why not? I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, Persephone. So everyone is here to get to know you. And so how would you like people to understand you as a whole, from your whole story? How would you like people to understand who you are?
Who I am is I'm here to I am the example of balancing um, the light, your light and your darkness, and the seasons that we move through, not just in the cycle of the year, but the seasons that you move through throughout your day, even.
Mm.
And I'm here to help individuals and the whole connect with their creativity and remembrance of the powers that really are held within each of your bodies.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you like us to understand you as like a goddess, a lineage, or a consciousness that moves through different expressions?
A consciousness that moves through different expressions. I
Okay.
really, it it leaves more for fluidity and interpretation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I did a little research on your myth, what we know of your myth. And so I was going to do like a 5-line recap of what we think we know.
Oh, goody. Let's.
Okay, so all I have is Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, was taken into the underworld while gathering flowers. Demeter's grief caused the earth to become barren, bringing famine to humanity. Hades agreed to release Persephone after Zeus intervened. And because Persephone ate pomegranate seeds, she was bound to return to the underworld each year. Her yearly return creates the seasons, growth when she's above, and winter when she descends. So, what would you like to tell us about that story? What is symbolism? What is truth? And what is a distortion?
The eating the seeds of the pomegranate definitely are symbolism for making the energetic exchange and acknowledgement and agreement for basically living dual lives. And um, you know, the mythology of, my father Zeus and Demeter, and this is just the Greek mythology. Like, my consciousness is much more than just that story.
Yes.
However, it is a it's a baseline that humanity has known Persephone as. And you know, the as myth goes through the course of generations, it gets a little vague,
Yeah.
stomped on, or misconstrued. But
Mm-hmm.
I would like to highlight just the metaphorical sides of it too, or you know everything has a cycle. And the I think the mythology that came along with me being in the underworld for 6 months of the year, and walking above earth for 6 months of the year, is more of a symbolism of um, in relation to humans descending into, or like our souls descending into earth,
Mm.
and having a human experience in the underworld with the lower frequencies and whatnot. So there's parallels. It's all open for interpretation. But we could say I was picking flowers and I stumbled across a very handsome. I was scared of him, but not in the Stockholm syndrome way. That's not how I know. There's theories and things about that, and no, our connection, Hades and mine, it was fated before this myth began.
Yeah.
It was
Stars.
you can call it what's that trigger, or that
Oh, twin flame.
twin flame? Yeah, you can call it that. But there was an agreement that between my mother and Hades before I was born, and she was trying to avoid from that coming to fruition. If you want to stick with those, with the myths and stuff.
Yeah, we'll stick with the myths.
Yeah, if you want to stick with the myths. But I want everyone to also to bear in mind too that my consciousness goes further than just Hades and the underground and pomegranates.
Yes, that's such a small snippet, but it's our only like cupful of
And
what
that
we
helps you
know.
reflect and resonate. So you can take my stories and my myths, and you work with me as a consciousness in your practices, or if or if if you feel called to me. But what I'm saying is the ability to take what my archetype, what my characteristics, and this goes with all of, the council members or any deity. Uh,
Hmm.
and you can use our strengths and weaknesses and um, philosophy and what our core styles are, and use it as a reflection in your own practice. So
Okay.
very reflective tool.
And so I was wondering if you could give us more insight into how you would describe what the underworld is. You kind of touched on it, saying it's like our incarnation experience here. Um, but is there anything else you want to kind of illuminate with about what the underworld actually represents in our human consciousness?
The underworld represents the the uh, the lower emotions that um, the human psyche holds, the lower densities. And Earth is one of the few places that one can descend so deep and experience true darkness within. And so it's kind of, you know, Earth is referenced more so as the underworld.
Right.
And and it got misconstrued by what have you, that there's hell and Hades equal, is
Mm-hmm.
equal hell, and I'm the queen of
Yeah,
the
yeah, I've
world
heard that.
hell. And it's more like we're guardians and guides for the souls incarnated on Earth right now,
I love
and
that.
always.
Hmm. And that brings me to my next question, which is like, we're always talking about ascension, ascending, but your work and Hades' work is so much about like the descent and how that is also important with our growth overall. Like it's not always about ascending. You have to kind of go down in order to go up in a way. Is there anything you'd like to say about that? The importance of the descent along with the ascension?
The descent is There would be no ascension without descent. Descent is the key, where you experience it and you can reflect and look at it and then see what the what the opposite is, what the other end of this is. So as many of I'm sure all of you are viewing this, experiencing your having your human experience in this lifetime right now. You've had your lowest of lows, the hardest of hardships, your grief, sadness, depression, anxiety, addiction, trauma. And so you have that, not to hold on to and grasp onto, but to use as reference and points for you to grow from and be like, I know what that is. I understand it. And I choose this, and move on, move up, spiral up.
I love that. Yes, Angie says there's no light without dark, there's no ascension without descent.
Exactly, Angie. Yes.
That is the perfect quote. Okay. Okay, so people often perceive you as like this gentle, floral, soft, feminine energy, but what do people misunderstand about your power truly?
My power truly is that of grounded and fierce femininity and sovereignty. I want people to know that, no, I wasn't kidnapped, and I stand strongly in both, one foot in the light and one foot in the dark, and I hold my own power within. And I also want people to recognize me for also being a dark goddess, but holding the spark of hope and light within. It's alchemy at its best.
I love that. And it kind of fits with the outfit Stephanie's chosen today, where it's like this like dark band t-shirt with your name with the flowers. Like you are both.
I sure am. That's
And it's kind of like, you're all about dancing and like what do you call like head banging is a form of dancing too. It's like letting loose.
as long as you move your body and you feel good,
Yes.
and just let your body move however it chooses. And
Someone is asking, would you consider yourself to be like a balanced energy, like how
I,
Prometheus is a balanced light?
I consider myself a balanced energy, yes.
Mhm. And so yeah, we kind of covered like, but was there anything you want to say about how does softness and strength coexist within you?
Mm, the I like to, for lack of better words and how to explain it in a physical reference, is the power is held within like your solar plexus, and this is also a good balance too of Hades. I like Hades. um, but you hold your power in your core, and your softness illuminates outside around you,
I love
and
that.
so it's the core, yeah, the core structure
Yeah.
within, and then everything flows softly and gently.
And I love how in a previous conversation you kind of talked about how among the council females, feminine archetypes, like there's enough of like the dominant type, so you took on this like lighter floral feminine side. Is there anything you'd like to say about that and how like that's your market and that's what you stand for?
Well, I mean, I think it's the most fun role to take because, I mean, being a woman and being a soft, true feminine, but a core baddie, is that what you got?
Fatty. Yes, Carol, period. I love that. Okay. Okay, and what are you here to activate in humanity now?
I creative power. I'm here to activate the creative power, and it goes hand in hand, your sacral chakra and your throat chakra. And I'm here to remind all mankind that their innate ability to create is profound and is eager to start being healed and nurtured and exercised and worked. Um, so yeah, I'm here for the creativity
I
to
love
really.
that. One of the things I've gotten from a past life session was that like any form of creativity is important, especially now, and like sharing it is especially important because it kind of unlocks, allows people, gives them permission to kind of follow and share their own creations,
Yes,
however big or small.
exactly. And it's create, even if it's just a little bit a day, just create something.
Yeah.
It can be a doodle, it could be
Painting your
anything.
nails,
Nails,
designing nails.
a form of self-care. It
Hmm.
could be just create. I mean, you create daily, but it's easy to get into your routine days, and so just throw a little creative, like fold an origami if you're into that, or um, record a funny video and send it to a friend or
Yeah,
something.
I
You
love
know,
that. You
and
don't have to have like these big, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece, just something that you do.
yeah,
I love
just do
that.
it. And that's key, is don't think about the masterpiece ahead of time. Just be
Yeah,
in the masterpiece.
be in the masterpiece. I love that. Thank you so much, Persephone.
You're welcome.
Okay. And yeah, I think my next question you kind of already answered, which was like, why is voice creativity, pleasure, and embodiment important at this time in our new Earth trajectory?
It's so important. Humanity's been deprived from their bodies, and it's it's important for humanity to heal from the, I don't want to say lies, but the bullshit that that has kept them away from um, and shame and away from um, embracing your bodies and experiencing your human physicality to its fullest. You are entitled to pleasure. You came here to experience pleasure in a healthy manner, and so connecting with one's body and really embracing how you feel in your body and moving your body and allowing yourself to heal from any sexual trauma or guilt or shame, to release that and move it out and just really start to give yourself the
Permission.
luxury that you came here
Yeah,
for.
I love that. Treat yourself, as they say in Parks and Rec. Okay, wonderful. I love that theme. And we're definitely going to come back to that at the end. But for now, I want to kind of switch to kind of talking about like the goddess versus the off-world expression that you hold. And that each of the council of nine members really hold. They hold both a god expression and an alien expression. Um, and I wanted to know what were the like the functional differences between your goddess expression and your off-world expression.
So my goddess expression is more of like a construct archetype for the human design, and my off-world expression is more of like a parallel existence in a sense, and it's more, I can be more creative and liberal,
Mm,
and um, it's easier to mm, work with more physicality in a sense, to come down um, and meet in, um, I guess the words I'm trying to get is like the individual that's working with me, where they're at their frequency. It's
okay.
sometimes easier to tap in as an alien expression, uh, to get. And then my goddess expression is more for like the alien expression is more like for fun. Get to that down to like brass and tacks and like the real like techie stuff that's going on. And then my goddess expressions, how it and I help. It's more of the nurturing side and the more um, strong-willed truth, so I feel like the alien version gets to play. And
Yeah, Emily often says that the alien versions get to have more fun. You have
it's
more responsibilities, it seems, as the goddess expression.
yes, yes.
Um, do your interests and priorities change across them? Like, so definitely, I would assume.
In a sense, yeah, because I'm working through a different lens, but um, my integrity stays intact between all.
I love that. Integrity is such a big deal.
It is.
Okay, let's see. How should people consciously choose which expression they want to work with and for what purpose?
So I recommend, if you're trying to get in, like you're so gung ho on alien ship or motherships, and or if you've got like if you want to do like med beds or do joint work with, like, let's say your Arcturian guides or your plating, whatever, uh whatever type alien guides you have,
Mhm.
you can also work with me or others in their alien expression, and that's and for like healing or tune-ups or any of that energetic technical work that um, we come in and do, or like if you call on me more in the goddess form, it's more healing and divine feminine and earthy and primal, protect, the real, like the Mary Magdalene kind of like expressions too that you need in that form.
Mm.
Very rooted in earth history. My alien expressions are more technical and a little bit more. mm, I guess I can't. There's two different kinds of comparisons from this side of like what it's like to present to one who's working with me
Mhm.
as an alien or in my goddess expression, and it does come through different uh, energetic lenses or impressions, but it still has my signature core to it. So I'm just sharing from my perspective on the other side through a human right now. This is very interesting.
Yes.
So, and I can't find an analogy with Stephanie right now to compare it, but
Okay.
uh, th-
If
this
it
is
comes
fun.
in, yes, this is super fun. And yes, this everyone's like, this is the first time hearing about this. Super interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting. We're literally channeling a goddess being through my friend Stephanie here, and she's telling us all about herself and her alien expression. Funny times we're living in, great times we're living in. I love it. Okay, so moving on to bringing back into the Hades topic. Um, if your connection with Hades was destined, predestined, why did it still require you to choose it in a sense, even in the face of your mother's resistance?
Because there's a layer of consent that comes through, kind of like how you have your soul contracts and your higher self does these consents and agreements sometimes you don't even know about until later when you're experiencing something and you're like, why is this happening to me? And then you're like, in hindsight, oh, that was that was a key core thing to happen in this story for
Mm-hmm.
me. So it was kind of like that. It was like a knowing but blindsided. And so I went through initial, you know,
Shock, I assume.
shock. Yeah, it was traumatic in a sense, there's but not not in an evil way, just kind of a transitional how it goes through in life with change. It's a
Yeah.
little jarring and shocking, and then you kind of figure out after the initial, where your bearings are, and then you kind of make an assessment, move from there, and find
That
where
must
your
have,
emotions stand. So it's
that
kind of
must
like
have been a bold, awkward move for Hades to be like, so, hey, we're destined.
good thing he's a stud.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yes, I have a picture I'm going to show everyone later of y'all together, and I think it's super romantic.
That is so
And I wanted
funny.
to know, speaking of him being a stud, how did he present himself to you, and how would you describe him to us?
So tall, dark, handsome, powerful, and I was attracted to his energy at first, but was repulsed and curious at the same time. So, um, you know, it's like in fantasy tale, like what girl doesn't want to get
Uh,
swooped up and
yes,
taken by this
and
tall, dark energy of, god of the underworld? Yes, please. I mean,
I have this image of y'all because every time she's described him to me, I can't help but think of Xaden Ryerson from Fourth Wing. You know, I'm always mentioning that dragon series. And so I asked AI to create a Zayden Ryerson mixed with the Greek god Hades, and this is what we got with Persephone. And I love it. It deserves to be on its own book series. So
It
any
should be.
fantasy writers out there, get to it. I want to read it. So yes. Okay. So I can imagine that's got to be complicated. But yeah, he's a good man, Savannah, as they say in the memes.
He's a good man.
He's a good man. Okay. Which reminds me, do you think it would be possible to talk with him for a little bit today?
Absolutely, yes. He would love to come in.
Okay, guys.
Um,
Whew. We're about to talk to Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome.
mm, mm, mm. Hello. Hello. Hello, Dale.
Hello, Hades. Thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
I love seeing everyone adjust to the human body for a second. It's my favorite.
It feels quite interesting, and I mean, it's making her feel quite interesting.
What is she feeling? That's so different from Persephone.
Uh, full zing of energy straight up and down her spine and tingling on the bottom of her feet, so it kind of tickles.
Interesting. You pack quite a punch.
And I'm just barely in here.
I love that. No big deal.
No big deal.
Okay, Hades. How would you like humanity to understand you? Because we got the whole hunk, tall, dark, and handsome rendition from Persephone. How would you like us to understand you beyond the villain archetypes we're so used to hearing about?
Oh, humanity, we are we are kin. Um it's the truth is that I am here in the underworld holding hope for those who lose hope on in themselves. And so the souls that are struggling with low vibrational emotions and are perpetually being stuck in their cycles of self destruction. I am here lifting and holding a spark of hope, a spark of light in the darkest pits, some at times for those. And I'm capable of being able to provide hope when one doesn't have any left within themselves and lift them up.
I love
And
that.
so I am a lower resonance tuned being, but I hold light and hope for humanity in the lowest layers of this dense reality.
I appreciate that. I had made an image of you with Persephone, but specifically in the image, I wanted to capture this thing you told us about, where it's like what you do with the beings, the humans that get stuck in the lower resonances, and how you help them. You described like an onyx energy ball around them, and I made it for y'all to look at. This is Hades, so you can get a close up of Mr. Handsome with his energy ball. But I made sure to have the spark in the middle because that's what you do, is like you zing them back.
Yes, you captured that very well, Dale.
Thank you. Well, AI, but yeah, I'm.
And we were playing with it with you.
I appreciate it, but yeah,
We
that's his
look forward
energy
to
ball, his onyx energy ball.
Yes, and if you want to imagine my energy, just think of the kind of uh, think of onyx, the feeling of grounded stability and protection. You see why Persephone wasn't one to want to run away when she realized how protective I am.
That's true. Yes, I am a reader, an avid reader of romance fiction, and you guys have a typical, like, almost like enemies to lovers story. I'm telling you, someone's got to write it. Someone's got to write that story.
Somebody does need to write it.
Okay, and so the underworld, unlike what we think, it's not a place of punishment. It's
No,
it's not like what we
place of,
consider.
it's a place of choice. You chose to come here. You chose to descend to experience, and you choose to ascend. So it's all choice.
That's true. And as Persephone was saying before, it's like you can't ascend without the descent. The descent, it's almost like the jumping board in like a pool. Like you have to jump low in order to be flown up high.
You do. You do. And, somebody's got to be here to, hold space for the icky things and the not pretty things, the other side of the coin.
Hmm.
And um, just, I want to put it out there that I hold immense love in my heart, in my consciousness, in my existence, in all aspects. So much love in my heart for all. And I hope people begin to realize that hell isn't real. It's and the underworld is your creation.
I appreciate that. It's important for us to remember this. And so the descent is so important, but would you like to clarify the difference between meeting your shadow and versus being consumed by it?
It's a tricky one because usually being consumed by the shadow is what happens over and over and over again. Um, and then once one gets tired of being consumed, that's when one meets their shadow and faces it and hugs it and heals it and chooses to move on. And it's like a battle, it's an internal battle, but if it's met with love and understanding and the intent to heal,
Hmm.
your shadow is your best friend. Your shadow is you who showed you what you can survive and teach you how to become a more self accepting version of yourself, and then being able to share that love and show what self love is looks like for others to know that they're capable of it. It's something that they can do.
I love that. I think a mm, common dissension factor that we're all going through right now as we move into New Earth is this feeling of like um, we want so much more change now, and it all feels like it's too dark still here now. Is there any advice or your favorite form of shadow work that you could advise us to do to help us through these moments of doubt of is this really happening? Um, how can I get through this when it's like other people are hurting around me or that I see other people hurting? What would you like to tell us about how to face that form of shadow?
It's the hardest form of shadow to really face. The exercise that I would bring you to really is conscious breath work. And really pulling into yourself, because everything that's going on around you is a reflection of what's going on inside. And so to start with shadow work, it really requires slowing down, relaxing, and dropping into your heart space and just allowing yourself to sit there and get comfortable with being in silence and by yourself for a little while within. And then really ask yourself, what am I ready to release that is holding me back? And you can state, I am ready to see what is wanting to be released. And it could be a powerful thing